Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, that's right, the Xfinity studio, we're back. It is Mr. Flyperbole, Steve Jaco. What's going on today, Steve?
Not much, Bill. Just been enjoying watching some actual good hockey for once. It's like such a breath of fresh air after watching all this Flyers hockey. Be like, oh, look at these Canadians out there. Team Canada's just like making everybody look like they've never played hockey before. It's almost like watching the teams that play against the Flyers.
It really, like, if we don't get, at this point after watching this tournament, if we don't get Canada-US, major disappointment.
Oh, yeah.
Major freaking disappointment. Both have the first round bye in the medal round. We're going to talk a little about the Olympics to get started, Steve. And I wanted to do that with Bill Meltzer's rundown of some of the Flyers' Olympic performances thus far. And I asked, do you think this could be it? Do you think this tournament, it's not exactly the Stanley Cup playoffs, but playing well at the Olympics could lead teams to go, we do need playoff Risto. With the trade deadline on March 6th, there will be time. There is a trade freeze right now. Doesn't mean you can't talk. Doesn't mean you can't pick up the phone and maybe make some calls. Bill Meltzer on the Flyers website wrote, Risto leads all players in the tournament with a +8 rating. We know the hockey men love plus minus.
Everybody's favorite stat.
Risto leads all players in the tournament with a +8 rating through the first 3 games. The Big Finn also notched 2 assists on Saturday in an 11-0 rout of overmatched Team Italy. Blocked shots and hits not officially recorded as statistics by IIHF. However, Risto has had several of each during his 3 games to date. He has performed well in every match, including Finland's 4-1 loss to Slovakia in the tournament opener. Risto has averaged 19.23 of ice time over the first 3 games. Ristolainen has recorded 7 shots on goal. Via tiebreaker formulas, Finland 2-1-0 exits the round robin as the second-place team in Group B. This could be what the Flyers need, Steve. This could be it.
Dreaming big today, Bill Matson. I like it.
Well, we talked about this the other day. Like, if the offers a year ago weren't to the Flyers' liking, if they were basically, the phone wasn't ringing because they had set their price and every team was like, no, it's not going to start at like a pick and a prospect or whatever, a first and whatever the hell you want. Like, we're not doing that because the guy's constantly hurt and he's been hurt 3 times since then. Well, it stands to reason those offers would not be there this year. However, maybe a standout Olympics, maybe if Finland wins like, a bronze or a silver or something, and a big reason why is having the physical, nice, stay-at-home defenseman who can skate, who can make a first pass, who can every now and then uncork a slap shot. Maybe suddenly there's a little more interest. I still don't know if you're getting like a first and other stuff for them, but if maybe they're willing to waver on the price tag a little bit and other teams see this and go, we could use that as one of our 6 defensemen heading into the Stanley Cup playoffs, maybe this creates a bit more of a market for the guy that we just can't wait to trade.
This is Keith Jones' guy, Bill. You think Jonesy's just going like, hey, I've seen playoff Risto and you're going to take him away from me now? No way that's happening. I mean, it's been nice to see. It's the closest we've ever seen to this playoff Risto that I have equated to Bigfoot. It's something that doesn't exist because you'll never see it unless he gets traded. I would love to see him get traded here. I would love for a deal to happen. And the nice thing for the Flyers is they don't necessarily have to take a bad deal here because they don't have to trade him. They can hold on to him because he's a fine player. He's not reliable as far as like being hurt, but he's not the disaster he was a couple years back. So like, hey, if somebody comes along with an offer good enough, cool. But if not, screw him.
See, that's my issue now. Like, maybe teams do see the value in Rasmus Ristolainen and the player on the ice. But with another year left, I know the last couple of years it's been, oh yeah, teams aren't always looking for rentals anymore. They like a guy with some terms. So, oh, hey, yeah, Scott Lawton, that's 2 playoff runs we could have him for, you know?
Ooh, you need that.
Yeah, but with Risto and the injury history, maybe this summer or up until next deadline 2027, is where teams will be a little more interested because there's only the 1 year left and you don't have to go. So we're paying this guy 5.1 for what exactly?
For what?
Because, you know,
Hey, listen,
guys,
he's getting 19 minutes a night now, Bill. I mean, this is a big upgrade from 0. So
yeah, no,
great.
he's out there, he's playing. I did wonder because he had that game where he came back from the injury, then he's out like a game later. And I was like, oh, he's just trying to show he's healthy so he can go to the freaking Olympics. But then he comes back, he finishes, and then he goes over there. And if he's representing himself pretty well, that can only mean good stuff for the Flyers in terms of like getting something back for a dude who I made the joke with Charlie, I think, when we did the looking at all of Briere's signings and then looking at who's extension eligible. Like, you know, July 1st, Risto is extension eligible.
Let's jump on that. He's tough to play against, is what I've been hearing. Tough to play against. I mean, it is nice to see him in this high pressure situation to see what he can do. And he has been physical and tough. And I would very much love if the Flyers could work a deal out. And I would take a pretty low price at this point. Like, if you
my price tag at this point is get what you can get and open up the roster spot and open up the cap space. I know they have some. More is always good.
Yeah, more is always good. And I mean, 5.1 ain't nothing to sneeze at. And I'm just, from a podcaster perspective, from somebody who talks about this team constantly, I would love to trade him just to stop talking about him. We're in the Morgan Frost territory, as we've discussed here with Rasmus Ristolainen. And like, all the jokes are worn out. I'm tired. You're tired. I'm sure Danny Briere's tired. I don't know if Keith Jones is tired at this point because he loves the guy.
And he doesn't really sleep. He doesn't get tired.
No, he doesn't get tired. It's true. I mean, Jonesy's got way more energy than I do when it comes to Risto. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, if this is something that they can use to drive up that price, and if a GM's looking at Olympic play and saying, that's the guy I want right there, that's my guy, then man, you make the deal with that GM because you're probably swindling him.
Yeah. In other Olympic news, as it pertains to the Flyers, Vladar has started one game. It didn't go great.
That's fine. Honestly, he can just not play, and that's
Yeah.
fine. He can have a nice Italian vacation, sip some espresso on the bench. That's fine by me.
Him being rested isn't the worst thing in the world for the Flyers. If they are, perhaps tomorrow we'll go through like scenarios in which they could actually get themselves back in this thing and maybe make the last. I know, Steve. I know. But you see, he stopped 9 of 12 against France. Not exactly
program right there.
Not exactly a standout performance for the Czechs. Dostal has started the other 2 games. He looks like their guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with. I actually, how things are working out so far is pretty ideal from a Flyer standpoint. Where we're going to talk about this guy in a second, but Sanheim is not exactly playing a ton. Vladar's not playing a ton, and Risto's playing enough to showcase himself for a potential trade. So that's pretty nice from a Flyers perspective because I wanted Vladar he's basically like these guys are on like a vacation where they work out, which is, I mean, ideal for us because
I mean, that's not my ideal vacation,
no, but that's ideal for us.
For elite level athletes, certainly.
Not for me, but for, you know, a fan of the Philadelphia Hockey Flyers who I hate watching but love at the same time. You know, having these 2 key guys get their exercise, but also rest is pretty great.
So Sanheim got in after the Morrissey injury. He was the scratch in the first round robin game. Then he gets in for 10-17 against Switzerland. He was +2 in that one, and then in the finale, in the game against France, +3 with 2 shots on goal and almost 19 minutes. So in the game that was like, yeah, let's get the other guys out there. He was one of those other guys who played a ton because he is, if Morrissey isn't coming back, kind of their 7. And you can dress 7. So that's cool. He'll get to be on the bench, but
that's fun.
Definitely the odd man out on their blue line. But he has gotten some action. Abols, of course, not playing. He's injured, but Latvia is in the medal round now. They'll be in the qualifying game. They'll play number 7 Sweden on Tuesday. So good for Latvia, even without 1C Rodrigo Abols.
It is a bummer because, like, if you look at Latvia, again, not exactly known for being a hockey powerhouse over there, but you do look at them and say, you know, I know Rodrigo Abols isn't the greatest player in the world. He's barely a professional 4C in the NHL level, but it still feels like he'd make a difference as an NHL representative for them. To have the talent to be able to hang in the NHL is a difference maker. So it is a bummer to think that he'd be out there. And if he was one of my more beloved Flyers, I'd be more depressed about this. But he's
just,
Abols.
I feel like so much like I said, if we don't get Canada, US, like that is best on best. I want to see it. But so much of the Olympics is getting to see these guys get their chance in this sort of environment. Like, you know what? It's not as if Latvia is a powerhouse, but they have found themselves now in the medal round. They do have a guy who's proven himself to be at least a decent NHL fourth liner. That's the best league in the world. It's not like they couldn't use him. It's a bummer for him, but it's cool to see their team advance regardless.
I need Russia to just stop being horrible so that they can get back in, because I miss having the Russians in this tournament.
Yes.
Because it adds such a dynamic aspect to it, because then it's not just US, Canada. It's US, Canada, Russia. And it just makes things that much spicier, that much more interesting, because they're just, you look around the league, how many of the superstars are Russian? There's a good reason.
The best goalies are the two Russian guys, and really three. Obviously, we have Michkov, but Kucherov is a top 3 or 4 forward, if you want to put Celebrini in that group or not yet. There's
a good argument.
There is a dynamic element missing when Russia is excluded. It's not as if Sweden and Finland aren't cool. It's not as if there aren't other stories, but Russia's the third country.
Yeah.
They're the third powerhouse. They create stars at a level that the other countries don't.
Yeah, and it just feels like it's coming down to US and Canada, which is great. It's going to be an
We're
awesome
finally
game.
back, and we don't get to see Ovi in one more Olympics. Yeah, come on.
It sucks because
it's going to be 45 when they're back, maybe.
He might. Honestly, I could see him
what,
playing.
Are you going to exclude him?
No. If he wants in, you give him in.
Yes.
But yeah, it just doesn't feel the same. That said, if it does end up being US and Canada, like we all think it's going to, that's going to be a heck of a game. And Canada is just, they are ridiculous. The US's look good, don't get me wrong, but Canada's making everybody else just look pathetic. The way they are just skating circles around people. The fact that Celebrini is playing on the level of all these other superstars, of McDavid and McKinnon, and just, he got that what was it, penalty shot the other day, right? And they were like, well, no, he's going to take it. He's what, 19 years old?
He's so good.
He's ridiculous.
He's sick good.
It honestly makes me slightly happy, and because I'm a sicko, and misery loves company, that Chicago missed out on him. Bedard's really good, don't get me wrong, but the way Celebrini looks, man, the Sharks really got something special there.
They did. All right, one more story that has come out of the Olympics. I saw this tweeted by Elliot Friedman half an hour ago. So we get that fight, quote unquote, wrestling match between Tom Wilson and that big dude from France, Pierre Crinon.
Quit your crying.
And nothing came out of it in terms of the double IHF. Wilson, they both get the 5 in the game, but neither of them are going to face supplementary discipline from the tournament. But no, France themselves has suspended Pierre Crinon for the rest of the Olympics for his role in the fight with Tom Wilson. I didn't read the decision. I just quote tweeted Elliot Friedman and used a certain GIF from Dumb and Dumber to express how I felt about that. But that's it. We got to fight the first one since '98 of the NHL era of players in the Olympics.
And if it was going to be anybody, it would be Tom Wilson.
Obviously,
it's not often that a player like Tom Wilson is able to get into the mix on one of these rosters. Maybe if I don't know, there's an international team that's inexplicably a European team that's inexplicably fighting out there. It doesn't happen very often because it's just really not the European game. So of course it's Canadian, but Tom Wilsons don't usually make Team Canada. And he's already been involved in a horrific season-ending injury. Not, that was more of a fall to the ice, but who knows what Tom Wilson's doing down there. And then the other one, of course, is fight. And the fight really, as you and I will agree, is not a huge deal from an NHL standpoint.
No.
Okay,
that happens every game.
Every game, easy. And the
they drop the gloves.
Oh, what is this? Oh, and France is like, oh, I would never My last name's French. I can do it.
Yeah, he can. He's allowed.
Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty much the Olympic update we have for you as the medal round gets underway. We will probably get more into this as hopefully the U.S. and Canada on that collision course. On the other side, we are going to talk about Kevin Kurz's fact or fiction article, headlines and controversies from this Flyers season, what he believes, and we'll respond to it because that's what we're doing here today, responding to other stories. Listen,
It's Monday during the Olympic break, baby.
it's PHLY Flyers, and the Flyers haven't played in a couple of days. We're gonna find
Day
stuff.
content for you.
Yeah, it's President's Day content for you, but we got to take our first break. All right, everybody, listen up. I got to tell you how I start my day each and every morning. I start at my Wawa. Now, this might be an ad read, but I think everyone watching right now has to know how much I love Wawa. And now, Wawa's giving us yet another reason to love them. It's the $5 big breakfast deal. For just $5, you can get any Sizzly breakfast sandwich, any size hot or iced coffee, plus a hash brown every morning from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's right, a breakfast Sizzly, a coffee, and a hash brown for just $5 from your local Wawa. That's value, that's convenience, and that's deliciousness all together in one deal. And while you're picking up your coffee, check out the brand new Caramel Chocolate Craze coffee flavors. You can try caramel, you can try chocolate, or you can mix both together for a sweet treat that will start your morning off right. The $5 big breakfast deals for a limited time and exclusions apply. See Wawa.com for details. No need to overthink breakfast. Just grab, go, and get on your day with Wawa. Gotta have a Wawa. It's time to tell you about Xfinity because I gotta ask, what if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense, and that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. There's no annual contract, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is always included. Take it from me, a lock can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken. We hate contracts. Well, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Go Birds. It's time to talk Flyers, fact or fiction. We are using Kevin Kurz's article as the jumping off point today. Flyers beat writer for The Athletic, who is working over this freaking break, unlike someone else who covers the team on a daily basis. Charlie will be back. I'm taking some days off too at the end of the week. We both split this up. He just happens to get the good ones the Friday before and the 2 days after Valentine's Day. But no grudges here. Obviously, he has earned
crap for you.
Obviously, he's earned his days off, I guess. I don't know. Let's get to Kurz's fact or fiction article with his very first point. Rick Tocchet was the wrong hire. Ooh, this is a complicated one.
Right there. Like I wish I could just respond to these. Do you remember the 90s show Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction with Jonathan Frakes? I wish I could respond to this one with like a simply not true, but I cannot because this is debatable. I mean, this is especially since you got a specific quote at the carnival at a talk over there. Like it's been a big deal for people and it was already a point of contention, but that was just throwing gasoline into a raging fire because this fan base was already pretty mad.
So going back to when he was hired, it was basically, we are going to interview Rick Tocchet, but he's more or less interviewing us. If he wants the Flyers job, he is going to be the Flyers coach. And it just kind of felt like there were no other real contenders. Now, I guess if he wanted to go to like Pittsburgh or something,
Pittsburgh is interesting.
Maybe we pivot and go with the Western Michigan coach or whoever. And this is, I think we have to separate like the online response to Tocchet. Obviously, this is fact. He was the wrong hire, according to many fans, especially of the online variety.
Yep.
But we have to separate that from the reality of him potentially being on the hot seat with Flyers brass. I think those are two separate issues. Now, Again, we got a mailbag question on Friday, Steve, that was like, if he comes back and the first thing out of his mouth when they ask him inevitably about, the experience, he goes, well, all those guys come in such great shape and they're so like, then maybe it's like, dude, you got to just stop talking about it.
Just stop talking about it. Did you see, by the way,
the idea that he could be fired after 1 year of a 5-year contract is ludicrous.
Simply not true. Simply unfathomable. I was actually cracking up earlier today because I saw Matvei Michkov's Instagram, and in the middle of a post was a video of him in the gym. So I hope Toc saw that one, and I hope he enjoyed that. It's, the online reaction. I mean, I'm going to throw my reaction in there too, because I didn't love the Tocchet hire. Right before they, finalized it and everything, I was pretty disappointed because I just thought this is such a Flyers move to hire the notable alumni that's out there, to hire a guy. Like, I wanted some new blood. I really wanted Western Michigan. I know they messed up with Hackstall, but at least they tried something new. So I wanted to just try somebody new instead of just another hockey man. And they decided on Tocchet. And I totally understand why they decided on Tocchet, because they wanted to take that jump forward. They wanted to be a successful team now. And my biggest thing was, what has Tocchet done besides 2 pretty good years with the Vancouver Canucks? I'll say one great year with the Canucks and one pretty good year with the Canucks to really, make him such a slam dunk hire. That's what I didn't really understand. And I do understand, again, they think this guy's the best coach that was available. Easy choice on their end.
And around the league, he's on the Canada staff.
Yeah.
He's well respected. It's not as if the Flyers did not hire Rick Tocchet, he'd be sitting there unemployed waiting for this job to open up again in a year and a half.
Right.
That's not what would have happened. So we do have to separate the two arguments. My thing has always been, when it comes to this former Flyer thing, maybe, whether it's coach, president, GM, whatever position,
all of them,
you could, and now it's all three all at the same time. And even when, Chuck Fletcher, I always said, yeah, he's not part of the club, but he's like a stepson.
Yeah.
He was Bobby Clark gave him his first job in hockey.
Basically a nepo.
He was his assistant when Clarkie went to Florida, and then how do you think he got the Minnesota job? Oh, well, Clarkie was the North Stars GM, right? Remember?
Huh?
It's always seems like it's something like that.
It always is.
Maybe the right guy for the job is happening to be a former Flyer, but you're shrinking your pool. But I was willing to give Tocchet because he is so respected, and I really don't know, because the circumstances with the Coyotes and the Canucks are so
and the Lightning. Don't forget the Lightning.
Oh, yeah, the Lightning were just they were an S show at the time.
Right.
They had Barry freaking Melrose as Steven Stamkos' rookie coach.
That was pretty funny.
Maybe this isn't a great idea either. But
that was what mystified me.
I didn't know. I just didn't think there was an answer to, is he a good coach or not, because of the circumstances of his previous jobs.
But it's when you had John Tortorella, right? It's this guy has a proven track record of being a good coach. Being a lunatic, yes.
Yeah, sure.
But being a good coach, absolutely. And Tocchet, it's weird though, because he's had nearly a decade of experience, and you're like, well, that 1 year was great.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just is mystifying to me. But yeah, I was willing to give him a shot, and through the first quarter of the season, it was going great. Even the third of the season, I would say, it was going great.
Through the 41 game mark, I thought this was a pretty decent team. Yeah. Obviously, I am grading on the curve of what the hell the league is, and especially the Eastern Conference and Metro Division are this year. But look around. Look at the goal differentials in the Pacific Division. There are very few great teams in this league. So if everyone's just kind of here and he can squeeze a little more out of them, and, I was talking the path to the Eastern Conference Final isn't crazy. Well, now it does seem crazy. It does seem to have all in just a few weeks. Game 41 was that Ducks game. That was January 6th. We're a month and a half removed from that, a month and 10 days removed from that. And all hell has broken loose.
Well, and it all has to do with one player, really, is what it comes down to. And it happens to be just one of the top 2 players in the system as far as excitement goes. And I would say number 1 as far as excitement in the current fan base, because, when we did the Sweet Takeover a few weeks ago, I hung out in the concourse for a little bit, and I can't even tell you how many Matvei Michkov jerseys I saw out there.
If you have a current player, there's a 50% chance you have a Mish.
Yeah. Because why wouldn't you? Because last year that was the best rookie season anybody's had since Simone Gagne. So yeah, I mean that's a pretty good pedigree to build upon. So you assumed he was going to come back strong this year, and then you hear about, of course, the out of shape thing, and that sucks. But okay, but then Tocchet with all these comments just seems to keep doubling down on it, and it's gotten to the point where people are now talking about anti-European bias or something with him, non-North American player bias. And I'm sure a lot of that is like maybe in people's heads, but it's something that people see that he had a problem with Pettersson and now he has a problem with Michkov, and they're like, I'm doing the math here. So the thing is, regardless, like he's not helping himself with these comments. I'd really love if he pulled that back for the second half of the season.
But I just don't know if it's too soon. I still don't have.
It's probably too soon.
Was he the wrong hire? It's still too soon. But we are right now not trending in a great direction.
No.
That said, like this team is on pace to finish well ahead of last year's record, and the goal coming in, as stated by the GM and president, was to show improvement from last season. Now, a lot of this improvement is simply based on, well, you went out and got Dan Vladar, you went out and got Trevor Zegras and Christian Dvorak. We'll get to him, but regardless of what you think, he's a functional centerman in the NHL, which is more than we had. Like a lot of the improvement is based on that, but if you look at the record, they will have shown the improvement. So this is the most complicated one, I think, because year 1 out of 5 is just too soon to know.
Well, and also just given the money that they've devoted to him, even if you people are like, I can't imagine he comes back next season. Like, imagine it. He will be back next season. I don't know if that's good or not yet, but he will be.
Yeah, and listen, and like I'm not going to sit here and be like I have loved every aspect of the Rick Tocchet tenure. I have not, but it's 56 out of 82, chapter 1 of 5, and like then it'll go to 84. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like it is. We're not even done chapter 1 yet, so I'm willing to give it more time, mostly because I have to. But there is a chance this all works out eventually.
There is a chance it works out. I think the big thing is going to be next season. We're going to have to see how Michkov responds to this season, but we also got to see if Tocchet can figure out a little bit better how to utilize Michkov, and that's going to be
the big right wing for starters.
Please put him on the right wing and play him more with Denver Barkey. Like, play him with guys who are helping his skill set. It's driving me nuts. But he's done good things. Like, I think Trevor Zegras has had a fantastic bounce back season under Tocchet. He's looked probably the best he's ever looked in his career.
There are players who have come up right away or joined the team or have been better than they were last year. And I do think he deserves credit for that. If we're going to crush him for the Michkov thing, which we have done thoroughly on this show, like, I do think he deserves credit for some other things. Now, listen, maybe this talent was always in Zegras and it was just a bad situation in Anaheim, but this is apparently a better situation, So I do think there's a give and take here, and we'll also get into the special teams maybe this week with Charlie, maybe next week, but there have been some signs of improvement. I know it's not great, but there have been some signs, and maybe we can give that to Tocchet and his staff as well. We'll talk about that this week or next week. I don't know. Charlie's got to do all the legwork, so I can just yell about it.
I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah, that's his job around here, to do my work for me. All right, let's get to this next one before the break, Steve. It is, there are no high-end prospects in the system beyond Porter Martone. I would say this is very close to fact.
Yes, I'm agreeing there. Because the thing is, most of the young guys are already with the team that you would consider high-end guys.
On the original Michkov timeline, we would still be calling him a high-end prospect. On the original Denver Barkey timeline, I don't know if he was ever a high-end prospect, but like he's not going to be 21 till July, I think, and he's in the NHL, and he's really small, and he looks like a pretty decent player already. He's ahead of schedule. I don't know if he qualifies as a high-end prospect, but maybe we include him.
So much of this depends on what your definition of high-end is, because if we're talking Martone, Martone's the number 6 pick overall.
Yeah.
Like, Martone could have gone top 3 is how good he is. So, like, you're talking about a very high pedigree when you're talking about him. Now, you can throw guys like Luchenko's a first-round pick.
I wouldn't call
Nesbitt-
him at this point a high-end prospect. I don't know if I
wouldn't
would
at
call Nesbitt a high-end. I do think there is one other. Like, I think there is one other guy who qualifies. Igor Zavragin.
Yeah.
And goalies are weird, and I know Mike Mellerman in the chat's going to be goalies aren't weird. But like nobody
Goalies aren't
really
weird.
nobody
Goalies are very
really knows how to like. Well, he did this at this level, which means he's going to do this at this level. There's a lot more variance with goaltenders. However, if you look at like KHL, VHL, MHL statistics, age 19, 20, 21, and like he's not even 21 yet. Zavragin isn't. You compare them to Shesterkin and Sorokin, compare them. That makes him a high-end prospect in my mind. I know he was a third-round pick. I know he's over in Russia and he's getting jerked around.
First round. In
No,
fact, I'd
exactly.
say they
Like,
typically
they
don't.
usually don't.
Yeah.
It's very weird when they do.
The Flyers' last reliable in-system goalie that they drafted was third-round pick. So, like,
Yes.
you often will, like, goalies are weird, is what it comes down to.
Was
So I put
Hart a
Zavragin
second
up
or a
there.
third?
I thought he was a third, but I'll look it up.
I don't remember. I think he might have been a second. He might have been their second round pick. Like, I think they took like LeBerge and then him in that draft.
We'll find out in a second.
I could be wrong, but yeah, it is a slim list.
48th overall.
48th, so second round.
Second round, okay.
But yeah, like goalies typically don't go in the
That's what I was
first,
talking
and you look at high end guys, and it's like you think of them as first round picks, unless it's like again like a Russian like Kaprizov, and he breaks out well after he's drafted. You know, that's a possibility. But you just compare some of these age 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old stats to high-end NHL goalies right now from the same country playing in the same league. There is reason to be excited about what Zavragin could ultimately be. That said, we don't know when he's coming over. These guys often don't come over till like their mid-20s. Charlie has said there might be, because of the way he's kind of getting jerked around. He's like in a 3-goalie rotation, and he's so young in the KHL. He got loaned to Sochi last year. He's been bounced back and forth between like the KHL and whatever the Russian AHL is. It's the V or the M. I don't
Something like
remember.
that. It was just
There's
that.
like 3 leagues. I don't remember what level they all are. But if you just compare the statistics, there is reason to be excited and refer to him as right now a high-end prospect. Does he get to where we need him to get to? Who the hell knows? He's a goalie. But like, I will say there's at least one other one, even if you're down on Luchenko and Nesbitt and guys like that. Also, as pointed out by Kurz in the piece, Berglund looked pretty damn good at World Juniors. I don't know if I don't think he qualifies as a high-end prospect, but it's a reason to think, hey, they have some guys who might pan out.
People concentrate too much on the high end area of the prospect thing, though. Is like the number one thing is you need a lot of guys to fulfill a hockey roster and make a competitive roster. The other thing is that you've got young guys who are already with the team. Trevor Zegras is young, no matter what.
He was
you
a
might
top
try
10
to
pick.
argue.
Jamie Drysdale was a top 10 pick.
Matvei Michkov, Denver Barkey, as you said, like there are guys that are young that are already up here and playing with the team. So it's about some of those support guys. So when Martone comes on, you're talking about a really high-end impact that comes in here.
And I know when we're talking about guys like Berglund and potentially Luchenko or Nesbitt, who maybe don't project to be top-line players, and that's what this team needs so much. It is a little disappointing to think like these are the guys we're most excited about outside of, again, Martone and Zavragin. What I'll say about it is if you don't like the idea of spending money on guys like Christian Dvorak, then you badly want these dudes to pan out to at least be good middle and bottom 6 players, because those guys are the ones you overpay. You overpay a superstar, who cares? Well, Kirill Kaprizov's making 16. He's only worth 14. Who gives an ass? Like, that doesn't matter. It's when you have to overpay for the middle and bottom of your lineup because you're doing it through free agency where you can get yourself into trouble. We've seen it time and time again. If you're able to grow these players in the system like a Berglund or Luchenko or whoever, that lowers your potential cap responsibility to the middle of your lineup. So you can, if one of these high-end guys ever becomes available, sign them for whatever the hell they want.
Here's the big thing. You're going to have to accept the fact that this entire project here is going to come down to Michkov and Martone and how they could support those guys. Because those are your big pieces. You have 2 fantastic wingers over there, potential, star or superstars right there. And you have to support those guys in any way you can. So it's really about them. It's not about guys that are, the big question mark to come. It's about those guys and what we can do to support those guys.
On the other side, Ersson, Cutter, Coots, Michkov, Dvorak. We're going to get to all these points, but we got to take our second break. Do we really want Matvei Michkov playing goalie? No, it's not worth the risk, the time, or the money. It doesn't make sense. You want to keep your stars focused on what they do best, and the same applies to your business. For small and mid-sized businesses competing with bigger companies, it isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. With competition heating up, you can't afford to fall behind. AI goes way beyond ChatGPT, and it gets overwhelming fast. That's why having a trusted guide like Togo matters. Togo streamlines your operations by handling customer service, accounting, order management, logistics, admin, data entry, and even complex multi-step processes without the cost of building it all in-house. And every engagement with Togo starts with free process mapping, and Togo doesn't bill a dime until the real work begins. Programs start as low as $1,000 a month and are built to scale without breaking the bank. Visit harnesstogo.com and mention PHLY for a free operational assessment. All right, everybody, it's time for me to tell you about Crooked Tea. Everybody's got their favorite hard tea right now. You go to the liquor stores in Jersey, the grocery stores in PA, they're all over the place. So how do you choose? You choose by turning that can around, because while others hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about what's in their can. Because Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar. There's no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see, it's what you drink. So next time you're at the store, flip that can, and if you can't find the ingredients, just put it back on the shelf. Then grab a Crooked Tea, zero sugar, real tea, and fully transparent. Philly recognizes real. Don't drink that fake junk. It is the go-to for Flyers and Eagles tailgates. There's absolutely no reason to choose anything else, so don't drink that fake stuff. Crooked Tea, the only thing better, it is a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you. Go Birds, and let's go Flyers. All right, the next point in Kurz's article after Tocchet and high-end prospects was Sam Ersson's time with the Flyers should be up. He says fact, and I agree, Steve.
Oh, it's hard to disagree with this one.
Now, we talked about at the carnival, we got a chance to interview Bush and JJ and talking about this, what the schedule is going to look like once they come back from the Olympics. And it's 26 games in an average of every 1.8 or 1.9 days. You're really going to need the backup goalie. That said, what are we looking at here? 8 to 10 starts. It would be cool for him, I guess, if he comes out and looks pretty good in some of those and maybe rebounds. But like, we now have a 3-year sample size, at 2 2/3 years sample size since he became a full-time NHLer. 116 starts, 122 total appearances, 881 save percentage, 306 goals against. What can he possibly do in these final 8 to 10 starts that would make you think it's anything but the kind of hot streak every goalie has now and then? Bad goalies look good from time to time. It happens. Just look at like whenever a third stringer starts against the Flyers and we're like, oh, it's point night. And then it's 1 goal on 22 shots. How about that?
Every time.
Like,
Every time.
It happens. Sam Ersson, I think the idea that he could work out somewhere else doesn't scare me a ton. Listen, goalies are weird. Maybe he gets with the right system, the right goalie coach, the right defense in front of him, and he figures it out later in his career. It's possible. But to this point, we are looking back on an 18-game stretch from November 3rd, 2023 to January 20th, 2024, in which he went 12-3-2 and put up a .930 save percentage. He was excellent in working his way towards and then becoming basically a tandem goalie with Carter Hart. Since then, he's been terrible. He has been mostly terrible or hurt since January of 2024. And like, what could he possibly show us in these 8 to 10 games he's going to get that's, you know what? The 3-year sample size is wrong. It was those 6 weeks at the end of 2026.
Like, I feel like if you're talking about him proving himself elsewhere, your ceiling is you're talking about what Alex Lyon has done.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Anthony Stolarz.
Who's really good but can't stay healthy,
Yeah,
like this guy.
Like, and they're all fine and they all have these spurts, right? but they don't have sustained success. We're not talking about Bobrovsky here, because when they mishandled that Bobrovsky situation, there was a very vocal part of the fan base, myself included, that was out there going, you have something special here. You have completely fumbled this. And then he proved it almost immediately in Columbus.
He won a Vezina.
Yeah, he won a Vezina. And this is not that situation. This is not Bobrovsky part 2.
No.
This might be Stolarz. This might be Lyon. This could also just be one of the 1,600 failed Flyers goalies from the past, I don't know, forever.
Listen, he was in the system. You gave him a shot. He had more than enough time to prove himself. He is still relatively young for a goalie, but if he plays out this season and they just go, I know he's an RFA, he's got one more year of team control. If they just non-qualify him, I don't see that as the end of the world. It's just like, yeah, so be it.
His best save percentage has been .899 for a full season. That's terrible. I'm done with it. I'm over it. And you're also doing a disservice to this team. If you're really trying to make the playoffs, you're doing a disservice to both the team and the fan base if you're rolling out this same tandem next year. Vladar's been very good, but you need somebody to support him, especially if he's going to get hurt, especially if he's going to be more of a tandem guy.
If the idea is to like tear it down and lose as much as possible, then trade Dan Vladar and let Coley and Ersson start every game.
Yeah.
But since that's not the idea, you got to move on and figure something else out. Sign a guy, trade for a guy, give one of your youngsters a shot, have an extraction mission for Zvragin, whatever. But like,
he's gotten a shot.
This is it. I just no longer, like we were saying, like the Morgan Frost situation with Risto, just tired of it.
Yeah.
I have seen more than enough of Sam Ersson.
He's gotten his shot. I don't think there's anything left to say. This is a fact.
No. All right. And that brings us to the gutter.
To the gutter. I mean,
Yeah,
we are talking about
basically.
the Flyers.
The Cutter Gauthier situation and trade was mishandled.
Okay, wait. I have the response to this one. Simply not true. I can't see how this was mishandled.
Kevin Kurz says almost certainly fiction.
Yeah.
Now, we still haven't and probably never will hear Cutter Gauthier's side of it.
We only knew,
I
Bill.
think we've pieced it together a little bit that basically what happened is he was thinking about going back to college. They kind of said, yeah, it's fine, because locker room situation, all that was destroyed. He was looking for them to be like, no, we need you. And they proposed the idea of like, maybe you sign an ATO and go play for the Phantoms. And the idea of going to the AHL was so insulting. And the idea that they didn't want him in the NHL immediately, even though he said, I'm thinking about going back to college. All of that kind of just rubbed him the wrong way and said, this organization doesn't believe in me. I want out. Maybe as soon as that happens, if you start we're going to trade him process sooner before, and I think they did a good job of keeping it under wraps, and I
had no idea.
They got a decent, no one outside the organization knew. There was, I guess, the hint when he didn't show up to rookie camp, and it was like, well, there's reasons, this and that, and we kind of all bought them. Looking back, we shouldn't have, and now whenever anyone misses anything, we need to look further into it. It was a learning situation for all of us, I think.
I guess.
But like,
I guess. It verges on conspiracy theories, though.
Certainly.
It's exhausting.
I guess maybe if they do it sooner, without it getting around in league circles, maybe the return is a little better. But I just don't know. Knowing what we know about the situation, I don't know what else they could have done other than maybe pull the trigger sooner and not like, well, maybe he'll come around, you know?
I mean, like, I don't understand what mythical thing you wanted them to do there. I think people are just like, I don't know. They're just dreaming when they're like, well, they could have traded him for McDavid or something. Like people just go nuts with these theories. And they also make these imaginary trades in their mind that, oh, you can trade this guy for anybody in the league. And it's like, no, especially if he's getting this reputation of a guy who is selective about where he wants to play. And he's kind of like, he was drafted as a center and yeah, he was a number 5 overall, right? But it's not like, okay, this guy is just like Eric Lindros getting traded here and we got to do whatever we can to get him. I don't know. I feel like they really couldn't have done anything better. I feel like if you're really looking to trash Danny Briere and Keith Jones. This is a situation you point to, but until he says otherwise, we have to trust their story because he's never told us the story and he never will.
And at this point, we've had what, 2 or 3 years to now he's had just enough time to come up with anything.
Yeah.
Give me 2 years to formulate a story.
If you only knew, tell us.
I think he was just like an immature kid, and it got handled as such. Now, dealing with immature kids has been an issue as far as, as long as we have been Flyers fans, Eric Lindros, Richards and Carter, like immature kids sometimes get mishandled by this organization. Matvei Michkov now.
Yeah.
But like, the teams that stick with these guys and let it pan out, it does pay off. But if he was just never going to sign and you lost the number 5 overall pick for nothing, that is grounds for removal from your position. They got something. Think what you will about Jamie Drysdale. He's a good player. They got a 2nd round pick. They traded Paling and a 2nd and a 4th for Trevor Zegras. So those 2 seconds in my mind wash. You got a 4C and a 4 for Trevor Zegras, who has been the team's best player through the first half of the season.
But also, Jamie Drysdale was a number 6 overall pick. It's not like they traded him for just nothing. It's not like they traded him for Kim Janssen. No, respect to Kim Janssen. I like Kim Janssen.
And like, Cutter looks like he's going to be a good goal scorer. He's not Eric Lindros.
Yeah.
Not even depleted Eric Lindros at the time when we got Kim Janssen.
No.
Kim Janssen was a hell of a player, though.
I like Kim Janssen. But, like, that's the thing is, like, they didn't get much of a return because he was depleted at the time. And, like, I don't know. You get a 6th overall pick who has a lot of upside. I'll take that.
He was a project. They've had to reform his game. It looks like maybe the offense is starting to come around. We will see. This is the one where I'm like, what else could they have done?
I don't understand. When people keep bringing it up, I'm just like, why are you bringing it up?
Maybe do it sooner.
To trash Briere.
The only thing I can think is maybe do it sooner before like it gets out in league circles more.
He would change his mind,
and I do think that was part of it. Maybe they should have made the determination sooner. I don't know.
Based on the story we know, it seems silly that he wouldn't. Okay, maybe he's just having a bad day or something like that. But he wouldn't meet with them. He wouldn't the story we've been told is he made up his mind and would not meet with them. So I really don't understand what else they could have done.
All right, this next one, Sean Couturier is washed up. Kurz's reaction to this was, it's not trending in the right direction, but that's also overstating it. Now, I think Charlie would agree with that assessment that he's not just absolute trash. He's still their best play driving center for whatever you take that for.
You want to talk about a difference between the online Flyers community and like the rest of the world? Sean Couturier is the #1 case in point here.
I will say it's been 29 games since he last scored a goal. In these 29 games, no goals, 9 assists. I do believe this to be true. If not at this very moment, like maybe washed up is overstating it. Today, February 16th, 2026. But now he is a 33-year-old on a long-term deal with a no move. He is
with a history of back problems,
a
history of leg problems.
He's already at 33. Man, you're like our 4C that gets other shifts because you still have certain skills. By 35, if he's not washed up, it is certainly he's en route. Not even based on injuries anymore, just like age, playing style. It's not as if these guys always last forever. Now, maybe there's a world where he could have been, Jordan Stahl or best case Ryan O'Reilly, but he's not. That's just not the way it has gone. And I was very hopeful after last season that he could be. But if he's not washed up, he's going to be soon.
He's been playing hard defensive hockey since 2011 at the NHL level. That is a long friggin' time to be doing that. And I'm in agreement with you here. I think if he is not already considered washed up, he's definitely trending in that direction. And it's a bummer, but I mean, dude, that's NHL hockey for you once you hit 30.
All right, let's take our last break, then hit Michkov. All right, it's time to tell you about the game-changing deals at Elkin Chevrolet, because Elkin Chevrolet, it's run by 3 brothers. They're real brothers. They're local guys, and they are big Flyers fans, which means you know they have a ton of loyalty. And right now at Elkin Chevrolet, they're putting on a President's Day sales event where the deals are bigger and better than ever. If you're in need of a truck, they've got it. If you're looking for an SUV, they have that too. And every vehicle comes with the kind of service that makes you feel like you're a part of their family. But don't wait. These President's Day deals are only here for a very short time. So swing by Elkin Chevrolet. It's on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey, and get in on the deals that are just plain honkin' good. Elkin Chevrolet, real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honkin' good service. Elkin Chevy, together let's drive, and together let's go Flyers. It's time to make your home work smarter, not harder, with TrueMark. Because with the TrueMark Financial Home Equity Line of Credit, you can tap into your home's equity to handle renovations, upgrades, or whatever's next on your list. A TrueMark Financial HELOC Select gives you the flexibility to borrow when you need it on your timeline. You start with a revolving line of credit, use only what you need, and when you're ready, you can lock in all or part of your balance at a fixed rate for predictable payments. You only pay interest on what you use, and as you pay it back, that credit becomes available again. No reapplying, no extra steps. With competitive rates compared to most unsecured loans and flexible repayment options, this could be a smart move for your home and your wallet. Learn more about TrueMark Financial's home equity line of credit at TrueMark.com or stop by one of their 24 branch locations to get started. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender, NMLS 404938. And remember, let's go Flyers. The next point here, they are ruining Matvei Michkov. Kevin Kurz says, fiction, Michkov's struggles lie almost exclusively with Michkov, who arrived at training camp. Well, you know already.
Oh, my God.
All right. What I will say.
I'm in disagreement here.
What I will say is ruining is way overstating it. Mostly because I am of the belief that if you have superstar potential, you can't be ruined by a coach not letting you play your way 100% of the time. I think there needs to be a meeting of styles and mindsets between the head coach, the coaching staff, the front office, and Matvei, where it's like a little bit more give and take. He's put in more positions to succeed, maybe played on the right wing, maybe played on the power play with Trevor Zegras, all those things, yeah. But there is some truth to, like, he needs to just play better. And to play better, he needs to prepare better. We don't need to get in that. We've done it too much. But, like, I do think it needs to be a 50-50 thing where he puts in the work and then he is put in position to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right about that, but I don't love the way they've handled him. The right.
Oh, I don't love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think ruining is, I agree with you when you say ruining is vastly overstating it, but I really don't like the way they've handled it. I really don't like the comments that have come out from the coaching staff.
Yeah, it's not good.
Specifically Tocchet, just talking about, like, just, you get to a certain point where it's not lying, but you maybe don't just blatantly throw your player under the bus, and somebody that the online community might be calling Fat Vay out there, calling him out of shape every chance you get. Like, maybe don't do that. Might be a bad idea. There are better ways to handle it, and it's not how they're currently handling it. And that game, the last game I did post game for, when they gave him 10 minutes time on ice on the night, which is fourth line minutes, it's just wild to me. I'm sorry. You're struggling to score goals. You have to put this guy in a position to win, and you have to put him out there in chances to score some dang goals. And I just feel like they're not doing a good job, playing to his strengths. And yeah, I mean, I guess there's credence to, how he came into camp and everything and his current conditioning, all that stuff. But ultimately, I feel like they need to match his playing style a lot better than they've been. And I really have been dissatisfied with how they're treating him. I'm so scarred from being a Flyers fan over my life that I'm really just worried that this is going to sour the player on signing here long-term and not want to be here long-term if that's, the kind of relationship he's going to have with the coaching staff.
I always think, like, if it's coach-based, that's ridiculous because all coaches are fired eventually.
Agreed.
I don't think it's gotten to that point. I just don't get... I know that the discourse outside the organization has gotten to that. I just feel like in the building, it's not that bad. Like that's really, I think we have reacted to it far stronger than Matvei has himself.
Oh, Matvei's out there, you know, I mentioned his social media before, but like when they win, he's posting positive pictures. You know, he seems happy about what they're doing, and he seems like a team guy in that regard. Like he wants the wins, he wants the team to succeed, which is great. But you know, it's very frustrating from the fan standpoint, from the outsider standpoint, to not see him in a good position and see them continue to kind of double down on the stance of he's going to play my way or the highway kind of thing.
All right. The last point of this fact or fiction article, Christian Dvorak's 5-year extension was a mistake. Too early to say, says Kurz, but the topic is certainly debatable. Now, you look at the structure of the contract, it's basically like a football or a basketball contract where you're like, yeah, it's 5 years, but is it? Because it becomes very tradable in years 4 and 5, and you can tell they wanted a 3-year deal. Should they be locking down 30-year-olds to 5-year deals? No, like that's undebatable. What I'll say in defense of it, and you all know I didn't like it at the time, and I still don't think it was the best idea. Look around the league. It's not just 1Cs. Everyone needs centers. This is a league-wide shortage of centers. And if in 2 years, a year from now, you're thinking, yeah, man, like, okay, we got Luchenko, and what else? Like maybe the Zegras thing works at center. He was really good at wing, and he hasn't been as good. He's had ups and downs playing there. The faceoffs are still very much an issue with him. It looks like, especially if Zegras is going to be a winger, they don't have any guys to play this position. It's very much we're going to be looking for Christian Dvorak in 2 years. Let's have him.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not the best defense, but it's the only one I can come up with that makes sense.
Well, I think he's been fine.
Yeah, he's very much fine.
People seem like it feels like people are acting like he's been playing like Sean Couturier's been playing this season. And I think he's been solid. Like he's been a solid player. The cap hit's not killer. I wanted a 3-year deal, something reasonable, just because while you're going in that gap, right, between who your centers might be in the future, while you're developing a couple guys and seeing who you maybe work deals out for, you're going to need a guy like that. And he's worked really well with Trevor Zegras. He's a guy you can put on the PK. He's not maybe as dynamic as some guys you've had in the past on the PK, but he is a solid hockey player. And you are going to, people act like everybody needs to be a 1C. And it's like, no, this guy is clearly signed to be a stopgap at 1C. It's not good that he's 1C. That means your team's not good, but you know, a guy who's a 2, 3C might be a little overpaid for those positions, but he's fine there. And people just, the overreactions, the hot takes have been so exacerbated. I feel like this season more so than other ones that it's exhausting.
People are just very, very tired of seeing this team be mediocre. And I understand that.
Oh, I understand.
I really understand where a lot of the consternation comes from. I tend to look at things, I just am very much an optimist and can see, like, if I can see a path, I will think that it's going to work until it doesn't, even if it's like, well, there's a lot of evidence that it might not.
He's a good player. It's 2 years too long.
Yeah, it's a too long of a deal. Now, there is the other fact of, at the deadline, an expiring contract for a player in a position that everyone needs could be very useful. You got an NHLer and a first-round pick for Scott Lawton.
But, you know, also think about
better than him.
But if you're trading him to a contender, that's probably an end of the first round. If you're getting a first-round pick, it's probably end of the round.
To me, it's very much about we need things. They're not going to come in free agency in all likelihood. So it's going to be trades. It's going to be, if it's an offer sheet, you surrender a lot of stuff. You can only give up your own picks. Having someone else's to at least be able to continue supplementing your system, even if they are late firsts and things. You know, they got Travis Konechny in the 20s. They got Claude Giroux in the 20s. They got Scott Lawton in the 20s. This team is excellent at drafting in the 20s. I think Gauthier was in the 20s. It's the top picks that they always screw up. Like, those are the ones that they're no good at. Like, it's very much, they're really good in the freaking 20s. I just, like...
Sometimes you get a Peter Forsberg, and then you trade him away with Lundqvist, and it probably should have been Brind'Amour.
I still love that. All right, before we wrap up, it's time to go to overtime. go to allphly.com to finish up today's show. But that's the reloading in order to have more ammo to get the stuff you're eventually going to need. That is the argument to me for trading Dvorak.
Yeah.
Because, no, do they need another guy at 29? No, but that pick traded is worth more than, that player's probably going to be worth.
I was absolutely, when they signed him, I said, well, that's a guy they're going to trade at the deadline. And then he ended up being pretty valuable with Zegras for the first half. And again,
maybe
it's not ideal, but, it's fine.
Maybe see what his offense would be away from red hot Trevor Zegras before giving him the contract.
I think it's going to be real mid, but
you kind of knew what you were getting, and what you got out of him in the first half of the season was extra.
It's a little overpayment. It's
a little too long.
There's other things to be
upset about. We have a few super chats. Let's get to those and then get out of here on this President's Day Monday. First one is from Purple Crayon. If Bill and Steve are on the side of the road, the Ersson Pearson bus ain't stopping to help it. Well,
I don't want to get on that bus. I don't trust that driver.
Yeah, that bus, the wheels will fall off.
There's a lot of holes in that bus.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah, good. I'll walk. I'm good.
That bus got sideswiped. It's missing it's missing a whole panel. You go over 60 miles an hour, you're gonna fly out the side. Listen, I really wanted Sam to work. It didn't. Time to see what's next. All right, Mellerman, what's up, Mel? What we need is more patience from the Flyers with young goalies. Are we going to be quick to move on from Bjarnason's Vragan when they struggle too? I would say
3 years of struggling for Sam Ersson.
Yeah, I would say 3 seasons is enough for a non-elite. When you're talking about Bjarnason, that's a second-round pick. When you're talking about Zvragan, that's a guy with damn near elite numbers in Russia for his age. I think they get a little bit more of they'll have the AHL time and then they'll get the NHL time, and it'll be a process. And that's why I'm interested in keeping Vladar around to have. Oh yeah, well, we have one thing that works on the side. And if those guys reach the level they're supposed to, they become tandems. Maybe they push him to backup, and you always have at least something that's average to above average to fall back on, the way Brian Elliott was before he became 100.
We said it before, but this feels like Stolar's part 2 or maybe Lyon part 2. It does not feel like Bobrovsky part 2. Bobrovsky, you could see the skills from the second he stepped in.
He had a 9.10 or a 9.15 as a rookie, and they asked him how many games he's ever played in a row because they were just riding him down the stretch, and his answer was Bob. And then he had a couple of bad playoff games.
And they were like, let's go get Brizgalov.
They were like, Michael, bring him back up. See how that goes. And then they went out and signed a lunatic.
Yeah.
So this is a little different.
This is a little bit different.
All right.
There's not a Brizgalov.
Next one here, Linden49. Watch Nathan Quinn with the Ramparts' sick hands. All right.
Cool.
Sounds good.
I've heard good things.
All right. And next one is David Shub. David checks in to say, Kevin Kurz is a clickbait peddler posing as a journalist. I don't have the problem with Kevin Kurz everyone else does. He is simply responding to things like this article is a response to narratives that he reads.
All I care about is this is stuff we've been talking about all year, and it gave us a nice little list to read down to talk about those topics.
Other people seem to have complaints about Kevin. I don't read every article because I don't have that kind of time on my hands.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with Kevin that other people seem to. He's never been rude to me or anything.
All I know is today we had a nice little list to talk about topics, and I like that.
And we didn't even need to use the President's Day nonsense I had as time filler.
I mean, I was willing to talk that nonsense.
I do actually want to, because I wanted to do Mount Rushmore of Flyers controversies.
I love
and the Cutter thing and this Michkov thing are so far low on the list of what this team used to be. I just want to read this one quote.
Killed Eric Lindros,
I just want to read this one quote from then GM and president Bobby Clarke in the year 2000.
Flyers legend Bobby Clarke, who, it's funny, if you're like a younger fan, if you're a newer fan, you don't know how there's a difference between Bobby Clarke and Bob Clarke.
Bobby played. He was one of the greatest players of all time. Bob was the GM who, if not for his unlimited budget, did a lot of really dumb stuff. But this is the Roger Nielsen situation, a quote from Bob Clarke. The Nielsen situation, Roger got cancer. That wasn't our fault. We didn't tell him to go get cancer. It's too bad that he did. We feel sorry for him. But then he went goofy on us.
Goofy.
this team, and this is 2000, like when they were Stanley Cup contenders every year. This is him talking about the head coach that they replaced because he took a leave of absence to deal with his cancer.
Yeah, it was good. It was
This like
coaching.
the Cutter
Good GM
stuff,
right there.
the Cutter stuff, the Michkov stuff. It's not in the same realm as how weird this team used to be.
They sewed Eric Desjardins' C on.
They
on
ripped
television,
off Lindros' seat on television.
and they put Desjardins on.
the
They showed
network-
it sewing on the pregame.
On the network they owned.
Yeah.
They ripped the C off of his freaking chest.
Like, if you think this is just a
And
drop
that's
in the
like-
bucket, friends.
That's like fifth on the list of Lindros stuff.
Yeah.
Lindros alone.
Lindros alone.
Not
Lindros
your 10
alone.
different things that could have
Like,
made
this
that.
isn't
But
even. Oh, you had
we
a
didn't,
great list
we
there.
didn't need to get to any of that stuff.
Save
Maybe
this.
we'll do it tomorrow.
I'm coming back.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. It's me and Steve again tomorrow. We might want to just F around. So
think I'm actually
tune
able
in
to.
4 p.m. right here on the PHL.
all in.
Yeah. 4 p.m. on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. Make sure you hit that like button. Not nearly enough likes today. And follow us right here. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. Follow the podcast as well. Just search PHLY Flyers and listen to Fly Purpley.
Maybe
Just-
new on this week. We'll see.
Steve,
I'm doing these.
Steve's busy. But listen to Fly Purpley when they do put out new episodes.
Yeah.
I am Bill. That is Steve. Thanks as always to Brenna. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.